In 2025, the American dream has become a fragile balance of legal status, fear, and hope, especially for millions of immigrants who hold green cards but not U.S. citizenship. Many of them live in this country, contribute to its economy, raise families, and pay taxes, but the painful truth is that their future in the United States is far less secure than it seems. In an era where immigration rules can shift overnight, the difference between a green card and a U.S. passport is no longer a bureaucratic detail, it is a matter of protection, stability, and survival. While both groups legally reside in the country, their experiences, rights, and risks are no longer just different, they're worlds apart. And now, under the renewed and much stricter enforcement policies spearheaded by the Trump administration, that gap has widened dramatically. If you're a permanent resident, if you're a new immigrant, or if you're simply trying to protect your family's future in this country, you need to hear this, not tomorrow, not next month, but now, because every day you wait, the risks grow larger, and the path forward becomes harder. A green card, formerly known as lawful permanent residency, sounds like a long-term solution. And on paper, it is. It allows you to live and work in the U.S. indefinitely. But what many fail to realize is that permanent does not mean untouchable. You are still a citizen of another country. Your status here is conditional. It's based on your behavior, your legal history, and your ability to avoid making any mistake that immigration authorities could interpret as a violation. And now, in 2025, those definitions are broader than ever before. The enforcement net has widened. The tolerance has shrunk. Meanwhile, being a U.S. passport holder means more than just citizenship, it means legal invincibility. It means the Constitution is on your side. You cannot be deported. You cannot be denied entry into your own country. You can vote, run for office, access benefits freely, and reunite with family more efficiently. In short, you are protected in a way that green card holders simply are not. Let's talk about travel, something so many take for granted. For green card holders, international travel has always come with a few caveats. Don't stay abroad too long, avoid certain countries, always return with documentation in order. But in 2025, it's more complicated and more dangerous. Green card holders from countries like Iran, Syria, Venezuela, China, or Afghanistan are being flagged at airports, pulled into secondary inspections, and in some cases, denied re-entry altogether. You could be flying back from a family wedding or a business trip and find yourself stuck in legal limbo, simply because a border officer believes you've stayed abroad too long or that your trip violated some vague condition. Staying outside the U.S. for just over 6 months can now trigger investigations, denials, or even accusations of abandoning your residency. And these decisions can happen at the discretion of a single officer. For green card holders, there is no guaranteed right to return. But if you're a citizen, you breeze through border control. No questions, no inspections, no fear. You can stay abroad for 1 month or 10 years and your place in America is waiting for you. That's not a privilege, that's power. Now let's get into something even more serious, deportation. Yes, deportation is still very real, and it doesn't just apply to undocumented immigrants. In 2025, green card holders can be deported more easily than ever before. If you commit a crime, even a non-violent one, or are simply arrested under suspicion of a deportable offense, you could find yourself in removal proceedings. It doesn't matter if you've lived here for 20 years, if you have American children, if you've paid taxes, or if you've never left the country. Under current policies, the Locke and Riley Act and expanded expedited removal guidelines allow immigration agents to detain green card holders without trial and initiate deportation proceedings within days. That means you could be placed in a detention facility while your entire life is decided behind closed doors. You may be innocent. You may be a victim of mistaken identity. But once you're in the system, getting out is harder than ever. Citizenship is the only true protection. U.S. citizens cannot be deported, period. That's the bottom line. When things go wrong, citizenship is your legal armor. Green card status is a thin layer that can be stripped away without warning. Green card holders also face complete political silence. You cannot vote, not in local, state, or federal elections. You cannot run for office. You cannot work in government jobs that require clearance or national security vetting. Meanwhile, U.S. citizens are encouraged to participate, to vote, to lead. They can shape the country's future in a way green card holders cannot. In an era of deep political polarization, where immigration laws are being rewritten by executive orders, not having a voice is not just a limitation, it's a liability. You have to follow the laws, but you can't vote for the people who make them. You pay taxes, but you have no say in how those taxes are spent. You live here, but politically, you don't exist. That imbalance becomes dangerous when policies start targeting you. Public benefits are another landmine. Green card holders do pay into the system. They contribute to Social Security. They pay Medicare taxes. After 10 years, they may qualify for some retirement benefits. But what many don't realize is that applying for other public aid, like Medicaid, SNAP, or housing assistance, can now be used against you under the revived and stricter public charge rule. In other words, if the government believes you've used too many public benefits, they can deny your green card renewal or block your citizenship application. Even emergency aid, like food assistance during a pandemic or medical help during a crisis, can hurt your immigration record. For U.S. citizens, this doesn't happen. There are no consequences for applying for help when you need it. That means more financial freedom, more security, and more dignity during hard times. Green card holders, on the other hand, live in fear that asking for help could cost them everything. And what about family? Green card holders can sponsor spouses and children, but the process is slow and limited. Wait times can stretch into years, especially if your family is from a high-demand country. You cannot sponsor your parents, and you can't petition married children or siblings at all. U.S. citizens, however, are given top priority. They can sponsor parents, children, married or not, and even siblings. Their petitions move faster, and they are rarely capped by visa quotas in the same way. That means family reunification happens in months, not decades. In 2025, as Trump's administration pushes a merit-based system over family-based immigration, these differences become even more dramatic. For green card holders, the hope of bringing loved ones to the U.S. is slipping further away. For citizens, the path remains open. In a country built on family, that difference feels especially cruel. Even the process of becoming a citizen is harder now. While the standard path, 5 years with a green card, or 3 if married to a U.S. citizen, has not changed, the naturalization process has. The citizenship test has been expanded to include more complex history and civics questions. The interview is tougher. Officers are now trained to probe deeper into your personal history, your financial records, even your social media activity. Miss a single document? Delay. Say the wrong thing in an interview? Denial. And with the reintroduction of strict public charge standards, even your use of healthcare or government services could trigger additional scrutiny. It's no longer a routine process, it's a minefield. Every form, every question, every fingerprint scan can make or break your future. And once denied, getting a second chance is far harder. For green card holders who've lived here for years, contributed, and played by the rules, the path to citizenship should be a celebration. Instead, it's become a test of endurance and luck. Meanwhile, U.S. citizens live with freedoms most green card holders can only dream about. They don't have to check visa expiry dates or file re-entry permits. They can vote, protest, apply for any job, and travel the world freely. A U.S. passport remains one of the most powerful in the world, with visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to over 180 countries. That means better job opportunities abroad, easier business travel, and the ability to visit family in other countries without weeks of paperwork. Green card holders must use the passport of their original country, which might not offer access to even half those nations. Travel becomes more complicated, more expensive, and more unpredictable. One delayed visa, one rejected entry stamp, and your entire trip could fall apart. If something happens to a family member overseas, illness, death, an emergency, you may not be able to reach them in time. And worse, you may not be able to return. Beyond the policies, beyond the paperwork, is the psychological toll. Green card holders live with a constant, quiet anxiety. Will I be safe if I travel? Could I lose everything if the law changes? What if I get arrested even though I did nothing wrong? Will they separate me from my kids if something happens? That fear is real. It's daily. It's exhausting. And in 2025, it's getting worse. Under Trump's renewed immigration directives, ICE is more empowered than ever.